Hello everyone. In today's class, we will start module number 5, that is memory, registers, and aspect of system timing. The first topic is system timing considerations. So, the following is the list of the system timing considerations, that is the two phase non overlapping clock. System timing considerations, the list is as follows. The system has two phase non overlapping clock. Phase 1 leads phase 2. So, a two phase non overlapping clock signal is assumed to be available here, and this clock alone will be used throughout the system. So, phase 1 leads phase 2. The clock phases are to be identified as phase 1 and phase 2, and it is assumed that phase 1 is lead to phase 2. Bits to be stored are written to register and subsystems on phase 1. That is, bits of data to be stored are returned to the register storage elements and subsystems on phase 1 of the clock, that is WR dot phase 1. So, writing operation. Bits or data written are assumed to be settled before phase 2. So, bits written into the storage elements may be assumed to have settled before the immediately following phase 2 signal, and phase 2 signal may be used to refresh stored data. Phase 2 signal is used to refresh the data, that is, it is used to refresh data. Delays assumed to be less than the intervals between the leading edge of phase 1 and phase 2. That is, in general, delays through data paths or combinational circuit, etc., are assumed to be less than the interval between the leading edge of the following phase 2 signal. Bits or data may be read on the next phase 1. So, bit may be read from storage elements on the next phase 1 of the clock, that is RD dot phi 1 or phase 1. There must be at least one clocked storage element in series with every clocked loop signal path. A general arrangement for the system stability is that there must be at least one clocked storage element in series with every closed loop signal path. Generally, read and write are mutually exclusive to any storage element. The factors considered for comparison of storage elements are area requirement, estimated power dissipation or bit stored, and volatility. So these are the factors that are going to be considered for comparison of the storage elements. So storage elements must have what is the exact area requirement. So area requirement should be less. Estimated power dissipation per bit stored. So power dissipation per bit stored must be in less. Then volatility. So these are the factors. Next topic is some commonly used storage or memory elements. So the elements that we will be studying here, that is commonly used storage or memory elements, are usually dynamic shift register, 3T dynamic RAM cell, 1T dynamic memory cell, pseudo static RAM that we have discussed earlier, register cell, 4T dynamic and 6T static memory cell, JK flip flop circuit or D flip flop circuit. So first one we will discuss the dynamic shift register. So as you can see from the figure, it is a dynamic register element it is. The first figure that shows using NMOS and CMOS is a dynamic register element. So shown below the diagram is the register element in both NMOS and CMOS versions. So NMOS version we are using a N transistor, and in CMOS version we are using a transmission gate. So observe the figure how it works. When phase that is phi is high, that is at the gate, as you can see the gate is named with signal 5. When phi is high, that is phase is high, the input bit gets transmitted to the inverting buffer. So as we know, the N transistor, it requires 1 as the input to switch on the transistor. So whenever phase is high, the transistor is switched on. So input bit, so whatever the input that is available the other side, that bit gets transmitted. The bit may be either 0 or it may be 1. So that gets transmitted to the inverting buffer. So and when phase, that is phi, is low, when the phase signal or gate signal is low, the bit get stored at the gate capacitance of the inverter. So here the bit gets stored at the gate capacitance of the inverter. Thus the register element behaves like a 1-bit memory cell. So remember here, for using NMOS, you require 1 transistor to store 1-bit memory, 1-bit data. So the register element behaves like a 1-bit memory cell. But here it has some limitation. That is, the limitation is that circuit is complemented version. So as you can see, there is an inverter connected. Whatever the input data that you are going to apply at the input side, its inverted version will be available at the output side. So that is the limitation of this figure, this circuit. So the same is the case with the CMOS version. So instead of NMOS circuit, the transmission gate or CMOS is used. So working is same. Here phase and phase bar complemented to each other are applied to switch on the transmission gate. So whatever the data that is available at the other side, that will be transmitted to the inverting buffer, and whenever the phase is low, the bit gets stored at the gate capacitance of the inverter. Like this, it stores a 1-bit memory cell. Here also it is a complemented version. So it can be modified as uncomplemented version. So the first figure, whatever that is shown, can be modified to the uncomplemented version by making some modification. That is, by making two-phase clocking. The two-phase clocking, whatever the second figure shows. So it is two-phase clocking. So it is a modified version of the first figure. As you can see from the figure, there are 2 transistors and 2 inverters are used, or 2 transmission gates and 2 inverters are used. So phase 1 and phase 2 are applied to the transistor, so that whatever the input that is applied at the to the first transistor, the same input will be available at the output side, because 2 times inverting operation will be performed. So whenever 2 times inversion operation is performed, input is equal to output. So this is a 4-bit NMOS shift register. The first figure shows the 4-bit NMOS shift register. So this is a dynamic shift register. So whatever the previously that we have used, so that is used as 4-bit here. As you can see, bit 0 requires 2 phase clock, bit 1, bit 2 and bit 3. Like this, there are 4 bits. You can use 4-bit NMOS shift register. So using the dynamic register element, a dynamic shift register can be constructed. A 4-bit dynamic shift register circuit using CMOS, using NMOS as well as CMOS version. The first figure is a NMOS version and the second figure is the CMOS version are used here. So these are with the uncomplemented output bits. The output is going to be uncomplemented output bits, as it takes two phases to store 1 bit That's why it is a uncomplemented version. From the figure, as you can see, there are few signals. That is, LD is nothing but a load. The signal LD is nothing but it is load, and RD is read. The CMOS version, the second one is shown. So the combination of the transmission gate and inverter can be taken as a standard cell. So combination of transmission gate and inverter makes a standard cell. So we will discuss what is the power dissipation of this circuit. So power dissipation, the static power dissipation is very small here for this circuit, and dynamic power is significant. There is a significant dynamic power dissipation for the above circuit, and dissipation can be reduced by altering the geometry of the circuit, by altering the length and the width of the circuit or geometry of the circuit. The dissipation can be reduced here. Then the volatility. So data storage time is limited to 1 millisecond or less. So data storage time, volatility, the feature volatility indicates the data storage time for this circuit is limited to 1 millisecond or less than that. Thank you for watching the video.